What's up everyone, my name is Eva. Welcome back to Polar Topics. Today we're going to be taking a look at r/AmITheA. As you guys know, for this video we are going to have polls, so please feel free to take the polls, leave comments, tell us what you think. Are these people the a-holes or not? Am I the a-hole for snapping at a man at the grocery store? Quick background, my grandma passed away almost 10 years ago, but I try to bring flowers to her grave whenever I can. So I, a 21-year-old female, was at the grocery store looking at flowers, and I could see a guy, mid-60s, staring at me out of the corner of my eye. I pretended I couldn't see him. After a minute or two, he clears his throat and says, "You know, a pretty young girl like you shouldn't have to buy herself flowers." I laughed uncomfortably and told him they weren't for me. I kept looking and picked out a bouquet and started to walk towards the checkout when he said, "You really need to find yourself a real man who will bring you flowers. You really seem like you could use a good man." He weirdly emphasized man, and your boyfriend must be an immature little boy. I tried to walk away. Then he says, "Sweetheart, don't buy your own flowers." I turned around and just snapped. "They're for my dead grandmother." And I walked over to the self-checkout. When I was walking away, a little old lady said, "Wow, that was so harsh." And I don't know if I overreacted or not. I personally think you absolutely did not overreact. He had no right to be commenting about anything that was going on, let alone whether or not the flowers were for you, and he definitely shouldn't have made a comment about your boyfriend, whether or not you have one or not, because it's none of his business. He should have minded his own business. That woman also should have minded her own business. It is none of their business what you were doing with those flowers. You could have been getting them for your dad for his birthday. I know I get my dad flowers all the time for his birthday because he loves them. Am I the a-hole for skipping my mom's 60th b-day to go to a lovers club? I'm staying with my parents for the summer to recover from a rough year. I developed chronic health problems and could not complete my semester's coursework, broke up with my best friend of 4 years because she was toxic, was hospitalized twice, and got ghosted by the person I was seeing after 2 months. To top it all off, my 7-year-old cat died suddenly due to congestive heart failure during exam time. This was all happening while I was living on my own, about 3,000 miles away from my parents. That being said, I'm incredibly lucky to have a supportive and loving mother. She was also going through a tough time at work during my spell and did her best to be there for me. My mom gets upset about her birthday because my dad never plans anything big. My dad and I prefer to have a small dinner with immediate family. However, my mom usually wants to get people together, and my dad just cannot seem to do this for her. Prior to this summer, I felt most of that disappointment laid with my dad for not taking initiative. This year, my mom preemptively planned an overnight birthday trip for the family so she would not be hurt. I did not know she planned it herself until after the ensuing incident. I assumed that my dad had booked the trip as a birthday present, which is something he does do on occasion. Now for the lovers club part. As a queer, trans, and disabled person, intimate sleeping is something I've really not experienced in a positive way. Dysphoria, mental health, and body image issues have really made it a non-existent thing in my life. When I was home for the holidays, I met up with a friend who told me about this great experience he had at this lovers lounge in the big city. This place puts on a night for queer and trans people every 2 months. He told me it had helped with his confidence so much, we made plans to go in the summer. It's the end of June and I've had a nice 25th birthday. I have a great time and thank my mom for putting in the effort. A week later, my mom reminds me not to forget her birthday trip at the end of July. I admit I forgot and made plans to go with my friend to the big city for that weekend. I say, "It's okay though because I could be there for her birthday on the 26th. My mom tells me that her birthday is on the 28th, not the 26th. Wow, you are a jerk. Even I remember my mother's birthday. So, assuming my dad had planned the overnight trip, I say I can come with them for the overnight trip and then leave Saturday evening to go to the big city, as it is close by. She then reveals that it was she who planned the overnight trip. So forget me, I've already made plans for her birthday weekend and managed to forget her actual birthday. She says, "Wow, no one planned anything for my birthday," and walks upstairs. I follow her upstairs and apologize, but she says she's too tired to talk. The next day, she says she doesn't care if I go, she's just sad no one planned anything. There's more that transpired after this, but I'm curious what people's impressions are at this point. Dude, what the heck? It's your mother's birthday. She's obviously done so much for you, and you don't even care to spend her birthday with her. You forget her actual birthday, and then make plans to go to some love club. Seriously. That's what you'd rather be doing on your mother's birthday, on your mother's 60th birthday, rather than spending the day actually with her and doing something for her? What is wrong with you? Am I the a-hole for taking advantage of my pretty privilege? I'm gonna be vague here, but my job requires that we wear makeup. This isn't even high-end retail or anything like that, so I'm not sure why. We're just a trendy store, and I'll leave it at that. I know this is gonna sound bad, but I have perfect skin. Everyone in my family does. My mom is 49 and does not have a wrinkle or fine lines on her face. She looks better now than she did at 25, and I'm not even slightly exaggerating. No one in my family ever gets blemishes or discoloration. It sounds bad, but we are a beautiful family. This includes extended family. My brother models. I'm too lazy for primer, concealer, and all that. I just wear mascara. However, other employees who don't wear concealer and stuff have been written up or spoken to. The late teens and early 20s struggle with acne that they have to cover up. If they don't, they get in trouble. There are girls way prettier than me who will get in trouble for not touching up. I've never experienced this because no one notices I'm barefaced. This boy I work with was asking how awful it must be to work with makeup on in this heat. I told him I'm bowling? What the heck? I told him I'm bowling because I'm not wearing any. That's it. That's the only time I've ever mentioned it. He said that it's dress code, and I said it doesn't matter because no one noticed. He said that just because I'm pretty, I still have to follow the rules, and he could report me. I told him to mind his business. When I got home, we were having this discussion at dinner time. We are a very close, multi-generational household. This is the first time we've discussed our beauty. My mom said that he'd be wrong to report me, but I'm taking advantage of my pretty privilege. Instead of not wearing makeup, it's up to me to challenge why the women have to wear makeup in the first place. My older brother and sister think it's not my problem and the guy is zonked. My dad thinks I don't have to wear makeup if I don't need to. I just don't want to wear makeup. You, woman, girl, whatever, I agree with your mom, but at the same time, you are the a-hole because you are not following the rules, and you are getting away with it, and I hate people like this. I hate people who think just because they have slightly better whatever than somebody else, that they don't have to follow the same rules as that other person. It doesn't matter. Those are the rules. You have to follow the rules. Would I be the a-hole if I reported a cashier for just doing her job? Throwaway because my husband knows my account and thinks that calling the store's corporate number is too much. But I wanted an unbiased opinion. I was shopping earlier today with my 3 children, and everything was going fine up until I got to the cash registers. I had a coupon that expired last month, but I've seen cashiers overwrite items before, so it shouldn't have been a big deal. This was an $80 item, so the coupon would have been really helpful. When the cashier scanned my coupon, it came up as expired, and that I couldn't use it. Despite my insistence that they've taken expired coupons before with no problem, wow! The coupon's expired! You don't need to go calling this girl names, she's just the cashier. She's just the cashier, it's not like she can do anything about it. The stupid girl asked her coworker if she could use it. The answer was no, and that had always been the store's policy. Frustrated, I asked to speak to her manager, but when the manager came up, she reiterated that I couldn't use expired coupons. The manager gave her permission to overwrite it for today's coupon instead, and walked off. But it was for a whole 10% less than the one that I had. My youngest had started crying, so I paid for it anyway, even though I was tempted to leave it there. Yeah, your kid's gonna start crying because you're making a scene and embarrassing them. Before I left, I made the girl give me her name and ensured I had the correct spelling and number for corporate. The cashier clearly could have just lowered the price of my item without any fuss, but she didn't. Because of her, my whole day was ruined. Boo-hoo. Would I be the a-hole if I called corporate to report her and her manager for being rude and incompetent? Yes, because the only rude and incompetent person here is you. The coupon is expired. I hate to say this, but she's nothing but a cashier. She can't make those calls. It is not her decision. And you decide to throw a hissy fit in front of your children because they wouldn't give you the expired coupon. And then you decide to throw an even bigger hissy fit because they did something nice for you and let you use a different coupon that you didn't even have. But you still threw a hissy fit because it was 10% less. Am I the a-hole for pressing charges on my daughter for fraud? Me and my wife recently found out that her daughter, my stepdaughter, though I consider her to be close enough to my own after having raised her for 18 years, has taken out a $60,000 loan debt under our name, without our permission. For some basic context, she took out a Parents Plus loan for school, under our name and social security number, without asking us. In her first semester of freshman year, she did come to us asking if we could fill out the paperwork for her, since her school loans were only about $5,000 for the whole year. We explained that we didn't have the financial means to take out a loan for the amount she was requesting, about $14,000 a year, but offered to help her find scholarships or work study, and other ways to potentially help her cover the costs. After me and her applied for about 5 to 10 scholarships, and she got a part-time job, she never came back to me and my wife with any financial aid concerns again, so we figured that she had it largely figured out. We brought up tuition a couple times, but every time we asked, she'd just say that she was able to cover it all and didn't need our help or anything. Come us a couple years down the road, we've gotten a letter from the Department of Education saying that our loan has gone into default, and has been so for about a year at this point. We reach out to her school, and after a little bit of digging, we discover that after we had told her no on the loan, she had gone around our backs and applied for it all online. She filled in her own contact information instead of our own, and the loan went through just fine, since she had the correct social security numbers and all. We've spoken with the school and the Department of Education a fair amount about this already, so we basically have two options for this. We can either eat the loan and pay it all back ourselves, something not at all financially feasible for my family since we have about $40,000 in medical debt on top of this now, or we can go through the state to press charges on each one of the 5 loans she's taken out, each loan being over $10,000, making this a felony in my state with a minimum prison sentence. At this point, I'm not certain what my family can do. We don't have the money to be able to pay this loan back, but me and my wife are emotionally wrecked at even the thought of pressing charges against our own daughter. So, here's the important question, Reddit. If I press charges here, am I the a-hole? I personally would say you are not the a-hole if you press charges against your daughter. She took out a massive loan in your name after you specifically told her not to and that you couldn't help her. You couldn't even take out a $14,000 loan, let alone a $60,000 loan. What's up with this subreddit and them asking if they should press charges against their kid? I think this is I think this is the 3rd video I've done of Am I the A-hole? And in 2 out of 3 of those videos, there have been a post about, should I press charges against my daughter? Should I turn my daughter into the police? Man, parents of Reddit, you have some sucky kids. I'm sorry. Anyway, on that note, that is the end of our video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe go check out some of our other videos.